Okay guys, welcome to another Friday Waffle. It's the weekend, thank goodness. I'm actually recording this a wee bit later. We just had a few bits and pieces to do after work, so hope we've all had an alright week. Just the usual for me, had a busy week. I did get out a run last night, which is the first run in 2 weeks I think it's been. Quite enjoyed it actually. It was only 3 miles, so it wasn't what you'd call a particularly long run, but a run is a run. So this weekend, in fact, what have I been doing this week? It was my birthday on... When was my birthday? No, my birthday was last week. What am I talking about? My birthday was last week. My birthday was the 19th. So that was last week actually. There you go, it just shows you. Yeah, my birthday present arrived. Basically what I did was I used all the money that I got and I had to put a wee bit extra myself towards it, and I eventually succumbed and got the PlayStation VR. Now, when it first got announced, I decided I was originally going to jump in right away. Then when it did come out, in fact at the point, I decided, nah, I'm going to just wait and see. And I held off because I was concerned that it was going to be one of these things where it didn't get the support and it was going to go the same way as the Kinect, the PlayStation Move. These are all systems, all add-ons to consoles, which really didn't work. They worked, but they didn't get the support, and ultimately they became an expensive paperweight. Now, when you're paying about 350 quid for a PSVR, you want to make sure, you know, you're going to get your money's worth. Now, luckily enough, I mean, I went on to Amazon and they were wanting £330 for the basic headset. Just the headset, nothing else. So, because normally Amazon, you know, is there or thereabouts. They're usually pretty competitive when it comes to pricing. But I thought, well, before I jump in and shell out, you know, that kind of money, I would have to, you know, that was nothing else. I did a quick Google, and lo and behold, Game, who are normally more expensive, I find, they were doing a bundle. I think it's an actual proper recognised bundle. It had what did it have in it? Where is it? What's it called again? PlayStation VR Worlds, Gran Turismo Sport, and some go-karting game which I can't remember. VR karts. Yeah, I've not actually tried VR karts yet, and I've not tried the Gran Turismo Sport yet. So what are my impressions of the PSVR? Really happy with it. Really happy. Now, my only experience of VR prior to that was the Samsung Gear VR, which I raved about. I raved about it non-stop when I first got it. The problem with that is it requires the phone, obviously, to power it. Now, the phone, after probably 20 minutes of use, the phone overheats and you've got to switch it off. So it's not really ideal for VR. Yeah, it's ideal being wireless, but as far as a system to, you know, to do VR seriously, it's not really up there. But yeah, the PSVR, the headset is super comfy, really comfortable. You can adjust it, obviously, you know, you can move the thing back and forwards. I've been doing a bit of search on YouTube, and there are a few extra options that they don't tell you about. You can adjust it, you can measure the distance between your two eyes and that kind of stuff, but I found it works just fine. It works absolutely perfect out the box. What have I been playing? I tried the there's a, what do you call it? What's it, VR Playground or something. It's a kind of demo type thing you get free. Tried that. It's like a kind of cat and mouse game. It's quite basic little mini games, but I've got to say, you know, that the level of submersion in the world that you're in is pretty phenomenal. It really is. I mean, I know I said that about the the Samsung Gear, and the Samsung Gear is excellent as well, but this is just another level. It also has the You've got the move controllers, which can act as your hands, and you can sort of lean forwards, and things will get closer. I was a wee bit concerned when I first got it because I did a Google, I just put in best PSVR setup, and the recommendation is something like a 6 foot by 10 foot room to use the thing. Now this little room that I'm in, you're lucky if it's 6 foot by 3 foot. It's really, really small. So I was a bit concerned that I'd bought myself something that I couldn't use in my games room, and I was thinking I'm going to have to take it downstairs and plug it into the big TV. But I've been using it now for a few days, and it's fine. It's absolutely fine. The only thing you can't really do very well, I sit in this chair, is you can't really looking behind you. You're kind of like that. It's not really ideal for looking about you, but I don't think many of the games require you to look behind you. Possibly some scary games when there's maybe baddies coming from you from any angle sort of thing, but the most impressive thing on it so far, I would have to say, I mean, there's graphically wise, it says there's, that cat and mouse thing is super impressive. But I think the thing that I like the most about it so far is London Heist. And it's essentially, you're taking part in a sort of, I was going to say it's not even is it a mini game? I think it is. It's different levels. The first couple that I've done, they're pretty basic, but the actual, again, the immersion of the experience is phenomenal. I mean, I'm not going to spoil it in case you're going to get one, but there's one bit where you're basically this guy's going to torture you, and he's a big muscly guy, skinhead, tattoos, and let's just say it's not for kids. The language is quite colourful, but there's one bit where he's kind of going to torture you, and if you lean forwards and you look into this guy's eyes, you've got to remind yourself that this is just a game. It's not real. I mean, yeah, the graphics don't look real. You're not going to mistake it for a real person, but it's still super impressive. It really is. So yeah, I've got absolutely no regrets about buying the PSVR. I think is it Skyrim? That's coming out. Then I think it's the middle of next month. I think it is. So if that's a full-on game, it might be one I'll have to buy. I mean, I did buy Skyrim, 6 months ago, but if this is a full Skyrim VR experience, then I think it might be something I need to kind of delve into. But yeah, it's what I would say is anybody that's kind of sitting on the fence with a PSVR, I would recommend it absolutely. I mean, what I would maybe try and do is get a shot of it, because obviously, I mean, my mate Mark, Lactobacillus Prime, he's unfortunately going to sell his because he just finds the what do you call it, the nausea side of things. I mean, not everybody's suited for VR. Some people, everybody has different tolerances to movement. The ones where I find I do get slightly nauseous is where you're turning using a thumbstick, so that it's turning and you're not really turning your head, so that kind of throws your brain a wee bit and it can make you feel a wee bit sickly. But so far I don't think there's been any game that's really made me feel unwell. But I would strongly suggest you try and get a shot of somebody else's before you buy one. Definitely what you should do is, if you do happen to buy one, make sure you either watch a demo or watch a YouTube or something of a game, because the last thing you want to do is buy a game and then find out that you can't play it because it makes you feel sick. I know you can take travel sickness pills, but as Mark says, you don't want to be taking tablets before you play a video game. That's just not really, I certainly wouldn't do that. But yeah, really enjoying the PSVR. I'm planning to have a wee shot tonight actually. I actually watched The Walking Dead. I watched the latest episode of The Walking Dead on a big screen. Really good. I've also heard that you can actually play, Blu-ray 3D films as well. So I don't actually own any 3D Blu-rays, but my mate does, so I might see if I can borrow a couple of him to try it out. But yeah, absolutely loving it to bits. No regrets about getting it. Other pickup, I got this thing, Mario Odyssey. That arrived yesterday. You may have seen my my Mainmeister minimalistic review. Now it is exactly what it says in the tin. It's a minimalistic review. Just something for a bit of fun. But I've got to say, I've played this for, I don't know, maybe about an hour, and it is, the graphics are just phenomenal. I mean, it does not disappoint. I know it's been getting 10 out of 10s on virtually everything. You know, people are saying it's the perfect game. You know, if you're into Black Ops and Call of Duty, then you probably won't enjoy it. But if you're like me, you enjoy video games that are fun to play, you'll love that. I mean, the level of immersion, the graphics, it's typical Nintendo, but with an HD makeover. You know, the graphics are just sublime. There's lots of moves. There's different control methods. I use the what do you call it? I've got the Pro controller. I tend to favour that. But apparently, if you take off the little, what are they called, the little control things that you get with the Switch, they've got like movement thing built into them. Apparently, that's the best way to play it. But I've just been playing it with the Pro controller. But lovely game, lovely graphics, sounds great. It's, you know, if you can imagine Mario 64 brought bang up to date with HD graphics, colour, sound, then you know you're absolutely going to love it. So yeah, enjoying that. What else? I've written down a few things. You know what? It was bugging me. There was something. Was it yesterday? I was sitting working, and something just came into my mind, and I thought I'm going to talk about that tonight. And you know what? Obviously, I didn't have the chance to write it down. What I sometimes do is I'll actually, if I think of something, if something springs into my brain, I'll actually send myself an email just to remind myself to add it on the list. But I didn't do that, and you know what? I completely forgot what I was going to talk about. So that is basically the PSVR and the Mario Odyssey. That was the two things I was going to talk about. So I've got quite a few questions, guys. So I am going to batter straight in. Oh, by the way, one of the good things about getting the PSVR is it means that I will probably never play the Samsung Gear VR. Now, I did look to see if I could sell it, and it's going for about 20 quid. So you know what, I'm just going to hang on to it. Or if somebody that I know, somebody that I know has a phone, I can, you know, give it to them, whatever, then I'll do that. But yeah, I'm not selling it for 20 quid. But yeah, the great thing is I've taken off all the apps on my phone that were VR, and it's now freed up. I think I've now got 9 gig worth of space, so I've got loads of space to do this, so I don't have to bother with the timer like I've been doing the last few weeks. I think I had basically 40 minutes worth of video, but I'm not going to run over 40 minutes if I can help it, because I think that's just a wee bit too long. So anyway, right, kicking the questions off. I've got tons to go through here. Mr. Hardcore 8 UK, can you discuss your time when you when you got your first PC? Did you build it or did you buy it? Right, Brian, my first PC I got, I think it would be 1995. Now, I had an Amiga, and I was happy with the Amiga, and I was aware of PCs, but I'd never actually seen a PC run before, you know, other than sort of basic games, you know, EGA and that kind of stuff, pretty crap kind of graphics. But that changed when my mate Grant got himself a PC, and I went up to his house and he was playing Doom, and here was a game that just rewrote what was possible in a video game. You know, it looked kind of three-dimensional. Yeah, looking at it now, it was very, very pixely and blocky, but back in 1995, it was incredible. It wasn't a kid's game. It had blood, it had gore, and it was genuinely terrifying. The sound effects as well. So that was it. I saw Doom getting played, and I knew then that I had to try and get a PC. Now I'm trying to remember how I actually got it. I think I saved up for it, and I also sold some bits and pieces, and I bought it in a place in Edinburgh, and I think it cost me about £1,000. I mean, it was, you know, PCs back in 1995 were pretty damned expensive. I mean, it was a Pentium 60 which, I mean, 486s were kind of popular, so getting this Pentium seemed really good. It seemed like cutting edge stuff. So I got a Pentium 60, and I think it had 8 meg of memory. It had an O32 Sound Blaster card, which was like quite a luxury card. And yeah, that was it. And what were you asking here about it? Yeah, so that was the question. I didn't buy it. I bought it pre-built. You know, I had no experience with PCs at all, so there's no way I was ever going to build one. I mean, I've built PCs since then, but so yeah, that was my very, very first PC. What was the main reason for wanting one as a game system? Doom. Simple as that. I saw Doom, I knew I had to get one because the Amiga would not be capable of running that. Getting a PC was like a step up. Albeit, you know, there was tons and tons of fantastic games on the Amiga. It was a bit of a double-edged sword. I was getting this amazing new system, but there were so many hundreds of games in the Amiga that I was going to lose because, I mean, I had to sell the Amiga to get the PC. You know, we weren't that lucky back then that you could keep 2 systems, you know. I had to sell one to get one. So yeah, the Amiga disappeared and I got the PC. But Doom, that was the game, Brian, that I got it for. How long was it your go-to platform for all things pixelated? Let me think. When I got the PC, it says 1995, it was primarily, well, you know what, it was my main system to play games for probably, you know what, it'd probably only be about maybe 2 years, if that, actually. Because, I mean, I did play games. I was playing stuff like World of Warcraft. No, not World of Warcraft. Warcraft, the original orcs versus, was it the humans, whatever it was. Playing stuff like that. Dune 2, Red Alert. These games, I love these games to bits. I played Doom 1, Doom 2. Is it Rise of the Triad? What was that one? I can't even. What's the name of the guy that's. It's a third person shooter. I can't even. Duke Nukem. Yeah, Duke Nukem. Loved that as well. But yeah, 1996, I think it was. I got the PlayStation. The PlayStation came out, and that kind of changed things somewhat. So I had the PlayStation plus the PC. I still played games on the PC because I could get copied games easily. So I did play stuff on the PC and the PlayStation. And then I got the PlayStation 2. And in fact, I didn't get the PlayStation 2. I got the Xbox. And but I think when the PC stopped being my main game system, it would be when the Xbox 360 came out. That kind of changed things because the 360 was probably capable of better graphics than the PC I had. One of the big things that put me off, and to this day, of getting back into PCs is the fact that I bought I can't even remember the name of the graphics card. I bought a graphics card and it was about 200 quid. And literally within a year, this card was a budget card and it didn't run half the stuff. And I just thought, nah, I'm finished with this constant upgrading. So that was it. Got the Xbox 360. And since then, about the only gaming I do on the PC generally is playing emulators. I don't really play emulators for fun. I use it to do videos and that kind of stuff. But aye, so that was probably a couple of years. In fact, maybe slightly more than that, I think it was. But yeah, I did play games on it for a long, long time. Number 4, did you downgrade to the PlayStation? Very good. And was your consoles the preferred system as they were plug and play? Yeah, I've just said that, Brian. That was exactly it. I got the PlayStation, I again got the Xbox, the original Xbox, and I got the Xbox 360. And at that point, I'd stopped kind of using the PC. The PC, to me, was more about a system for going online, sending emails. I did play when I discovered emulators before I started buying proper hardware. I used to use emulators all the time in a PC, and even now it's definitely the best machine for that. So yeah, anyway, listen, Brian, thanks for your questions, mate. Right, okay, first up we have Mr. Scullery, Doug being his first name. Thanks, Doug. Hi, Alan. Here's a last minute question for a waffle. With retro gaming and collecting seemingly on the increase, it is inevitable that prices for retro will skyrocket over the next few years, possibly pricing new collectors out. Might we soon be looking at thousands of pounds being demanded for old consoles and micros? Just imagine the experts on Antiques Roadshow gushing enthusiastically over a ZX81 with a wobbly RAM pack. It's sad, Doug, but I think you're right. I think it is going to eventually go that way. I mean, the longer it goes on, you know, the older these bits of hardware become, they're only going to increase in value. And that's one thing that I don't have any real... I don't feel guilty when I buy myself an old computer, because I know that's an investment. You know that you're going to get your money back. I wouldn't pay silly money for something. So basically all the stuff that I've got in here is an investment. It is only going to go up in price. I mean, in fact, one of my mates was telling me there was a... it sounds like something out of an Austin Powers film. There was a drug dealer, a drug baron down south. He actually collected arcade games and that kind of stuff, and he was arrested by the police, and they basically they auctioned off this guy's, basically the stuff that this guy had used drug money to buy. So there was excuse me, there was a big auction across in Ireland, and there was all these arcade machines, and like there was like a life-size Han Solo, all these kind of things. The guy was a right geek, some cracking stuff. But he also sold a Vectrex, and the Vectrex, or he didn't sell it, the police sold it. The Vectrex with one game in an auction went for £700. 700 quid. It's not worth that. I love my Vectrex to bits, but I would not pay 700 quid for it. But I fully believe that probably 10 years down the line, I think that will be the prices that we're looking at. I've been kind of thinking about, I mean, I've been selling a few old systems that I'm not using. I sold a Dragon 32 recently. I sold an Atari 65XE because I've got multiple Ataris. And it's kind of got me thinking I should maybe just hang on to them just for the purpose of it being a bit of an investment. You know, you're not going to get hundreds and hundreds of pounds for these things, but like I say, they are going to increase in value. But getting back to your point, Doug, I do think, sadly, because of the silly prices that people are now asking for hardware, it is going to make it more and more difficult for people, to get original hardware. And that's why I think things like the Switch Mini, not the Switch Mini, the SNES Mini, the NES Mini, it's giving people the chance to kind of own an original piece of Nintendo hardware with all these games. Saying that, they're still going for stupid money as well, but if you could get one for 60 quid, then I think it's great. But yeah, I think prices are just going to keep going up, and I think it is only a matter of time. In fact, it'd be interesting to know if an old computer has ever been on Antiques Roadshow. I don't think they're quite old enough to warrant the tag antique. But yeah, I think you're right, Doug. I think it's only going to increase, unfortunately. So anyway, Doug, thanks for your question. Next one, Mr. Lurch, 66644. Is that a phone number per chance? What were your early experiences with Japanese game imports back in the day? Where did you buy them from, and what prices were you paying? I've got to say, I never ever imported a SNES game. I mean, I was late. I was quite late to the party getting a SNES. I bought what was it called? The SNES Mario All-Stars SNES bundle. Because the games that generally people imported were like Street Fighter, and I was never ever into Street Fighter games. I've never been into fighting games really. So I have never actually personally imported a game from Japan. I do know quite a few mates. I think they paid about 75 quid for Street Fighter 2 on the SNES, which seems crazy at the time, but the impact that game had, you know, we were playing Commodore 64 Spectrums, and here was a arcade perfect, well, what seemed like an arcade perfect Street Fighter. So yeah, people were willing to pay big money. And then you get them moaning about the price of an app, 99 pence, that's ridiculous. So yeah, I can't say I actually ever bought anything myself, but I do know a few mates used to do. It's an expensive business, that's for sure. So anyway, Mr. Lutch, thank you very much. Next up, down the rabbit hole, Kev. I hear you also now have a PlayStation VR headset, and I'm guessing you've already talked about it in this waffle. I've just mentioned it, Kev. So instead, I'll ask you some questions about it. Number one, how are you finding the motion sickness? So far, so good, Kev. The game that you recommended people try to test their sickness, I can't remember what it's called. It's a game that's available for free on the PS Plus thing. I can't remember what it's called. I've not tried that yet. The only games so far that did make me slightly nauseous, it's one of the games on the PlayStation, whatever it's called again, PlayStation Worlds. You're in this kind of mech warrior type thing, and you press forward on the joystick to move. And I did find I got a wee bit slightly nauseous, but so far so good, Kev. Fingers crossed. Number two, did you know you can play any 3D Blu-ray in it? Yes, I did, because you told me, and I did actually read that earlier on, that's why I mentioned it. I've not tried it yet. Like I said, I don't actually own any 3D Blu-rays, but I'm going to see my mate, see if I can borrow a couple just to try it. It'd be interesting to see that. So, yeah, cool. Number three, also, any recommendations? You're talking about games, well, you've had it as long as I have, Kev. I said I got VR carts, and I don't know, did you get the same bundle as me? VR carts and also Gran Turismo Sport. Not tried either of the two games yet. I might try it tonight actually. Give it a go. Yeah, it's early days. By the way, I bought Battlezone and I love it, but it is a bit of a learning curve and they don't hold your hand much, so be warned. I actually put a bid in on eBay for it and I lost out by about 50 pence, so a bit disappointed with that. But yeah, I am looking to pick up Battlezone. Get it for the classic mode where you can play old school green and black Battlezone, but be advised the main game is challenging. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that, Kev, so thanks for the recommendation. Number four, outside of VR games, speaking of older classic titles now, do you recommend people who want to start a series that they should start in the first game? I'm kind of a bit weird when it comes to stuff like that. I always want to play a game, play the first version. I would never dive in and play the second one. I mean, I've got the, what's it called? What the hell's that called again? Not Little Big Planet. Uncharted. I've got Uncharted 4 and I've got the first 3 on a compilation disc thing. And I would not, people say to me, oh, don't bother with the first one, play the second one. But I want to play the first one first. So I would always say to people, yeah, play the original, especially when it's a kind of story type game. You know, you want to see, you want to get the backstory rather than jumping in. But it depends. I mean, if a sequel is a lot better than the first one, then I would say, well, don't waste your money unless you can get the original for maybe quite cheap. Why would you want to fork out lots of money for an original just because it's original when it might be a poor game? I think it all really depends on the actual game, Kevin. Also, I think if it's a story, then you may want to be able to start at the very beginning and work your way through it. So yeah, and lastly, number 5, I love your plug and play reviews recently. If you could choose only one for someone to buy, which would win the prize? The plug and plays are great. I've actually got one more. I've got one more up there actually, which I'm going to make a video of as well. What plug and plays have I got? The ones that I've got so far, I've got the Commodore 64 one. Is it the DTV or something? I've got the Namco one with Pac-Man. I've got the Namco one with, is it Pole Position? I've got the one which is Ghosts and Goblins Commando 1942. Then I've got a couple up there with Space Invaders. Favourite wise, the C64 one's not the greatest. I mean, it works okay, but the actual selection of games are not very good. I think they're all Houston games, and they've split up like summer games and winter games on the Commodore 64, and they've made each event like a separate game, so it's not the greatest game selection. I've got to give a special mention to the pole position Namco one, because the joystick actually rotates like a steering wheel, and it's actually a really, really good way to play the game. It's almost arcade perfect, so that's a nice one. The two Space Invader off one of them so far. Not bad, but I think the one that I like the best would be the Capcom one, the one that's got 1942, Ghosts and Goblins, and Commando. They are almost arcade perfect. I don't know whether it's a SNES, not a SNES, is it a Mega Drive and a chip? I'm not too sure, but that's probably my favourite one, I think, Kev. So anyway, Kev, thanks for your questions. As always, let me just have a look at this one. Right, next up we have Ian Hunter. There seems to be a global disenchantment lately regarding the cost of modern video games. I can remember paying £40 for a SNES game back in the day, and that was a lot of money then. Personally, I think given the effort and staff involved, modern games are great value for money. Your thoughts, please? I would agree with you 100%, Ian. I mean, we're just talking about importing games, people paid £75 to import a game. But as Ian was saying there, a SNES game was 40 quid. And £40 back in 1990, 91, whenever it was a lot of money. It was probably maybe a third of a wage, half a wage, a weekly wage. That's a lot of money. And yeah, people, like, I always laugh at people moan about an app, £1.99. That's ridiculous. They complain about the price of apps and games, and it's because we live in this culture where you get games for free, and because they give them away for free, you've got the in-app purchases and that kind of stuff, but you've got to buy credit and all this kind of shite. But people, I think it's great that you can get games for free, but it's a double-edged sword, because what I think's actually happened, it's reduced the value of a game. People now expect that people expect to pay either free or maybe 99 pence for a game. And so when you get a game, and I'm guilty of it as well, you get a game for the PC, like a shoot 'em up or something, and it's like a tenner, and you're thinking, whoa, that's a lot of money. But compare it with what we were paying back in 1990. And just what Ian was saying there, you look at these games. I mean, the games that I've got in the PSVR, and the classic example is this one here. That was that about 40 quid? And you know what? That's probably one of the finest games you could ever buy. I don't know how many hundreds of people, how many man hours it must take to make a game like that. You compare Mario Odyssey with a game on the Spectrum, you can't compare. It's pound for pound, what we're getting now is streets ahead, better value than what we were doing back in the 80s and 90s. So yeah. Anyway, great question, Ian, and as always, thank you very much, Squire. Right, I've got a new reader here, a new watcher, Mr. Record Then Return. Excellent name. Did you ever fill in a JigCal questionnaire when you were at school? Right, I do apologise. You've sent me a link, and I've got to say I never actually pre-read the questions. Maybe when I'm copy and pasting them, I might sort of see it and I'll maybe have a quick look. But generally, I just read these straight off. So when I'm reading it to you, that is the first time I've actually read it. You've posted a link. Our school got us to complete these, though I can't remember what career the computer had in store for me. Looking back on it now, it sounds like something from a science fiction novel. JigCal. So was this a kind of website? Well, it wouldn't have been a website, obviously. was this a questionnaire that you filled in as a kid, and it would like predict what job you were going to end up in? I'll need to click on the link. I do apologise. I will click on the link and have a look at that. But I can't honestly recall ever being asked to fill in something like that. I mean, we used to have like a, what was it called? Not a job seekers. What was it? Job guidance teacher. You basically had to make an appointment, and he would tell you, he would ask you what you want to do. And the job that I do was never a job that I would ever in a million years thought I was going to be doing. You know what I mean? I think it's only the lucky that end up doing the job they want to do. Most of us say, yeah, I want to be an F1 racing driver, I want to be an astronaut, and you end up, working in McDonald's or, laying bricks. We end up doing what we can do, sort of thing. But yeah, excellent. I will click on that link and I'll see what all the fuss is about. So anyway, thanks very much for the question, Squire. Right, so I've got 2 batches left, guys. Mr. Carol Todd. Back in the day, I won one of those magazine competitions to win a computer game. Have you ever won any magazine or retro gaming competition? You know what? I don't think I have ever. In fact, I can categorically say I have never ever won a competition in my life. I've won like the tournaments. I mean, when I was at one of these gaming events, I got bronze position in track and field, but I've never ever won a competition, whether it's on TV or a magazine. To be fair, I never actually really went in for them. I always thought I was one of these. I'm quite a kind of optimistic person, but back when I was like 16, I thought to myself, I've got the hiccups. Pardon me. I'm never going to win something like that. Sorry, guys. I should make this before I have my dinner. What was I talking about? Yeah, I was one of these people. I always thought I'm never ever going to win it. So why would I want to waste time in going for a competition? I think maybe nowadays, now that you've got the internet, it's easier to do it. But back then, what you had to do, you had to put your answer on a postcard and then send it in. So you'd have to actually go to the post office and buy a postcard, a physical postcard, and write your name and address with the answer, and then you would have to post it. So it was too much a faff for me. So that's why I never did it. Plus, I never thought I'd win anyway. But like I said, nowadays kids have got phones; they can do it online. But no, I have never ever won. Saying that, one of my mates actually won a drone, a really really good drone, in a Twitter competition of all things. When you got an email to say he answered the question, then he got an email to say that he'd won, and he thought, yeah, it's one of these spam emails when you get nothing. But lo and behold, this drone actually arrived, and I was thinking about buying it off him, but I realised that A, I didn't have the money, and B, it was probably one of these things that I may not use. But anyway, yeah, that's number 1 from Carol. Number 2, with Halloween around the corner, what is your favourite scary horror themed games? Now, you know what, you've just reminded me of something. One of the games I tried in the PSVR is Resident Evil 7. And all I'll say is I swore at the game. I thought, stuff that for a game of soldiers. I am not playing that. The realism of graphics nowadays is such that, when you're playing one of these games, you've got to sort of keep pinching yourself. Yeah, I mean, the graphics aren't real, it'll look like a real person. They're computer enough looking to realise that you're not in a real game. But the immersion and, the graphics are still real looking. You've got to remind yourself that you're playing a game. And when I had a quick shot of Resident Evil 7, I'm like, I could feel my heart racing, and I thought, nah, stuff that, I won't go back to it. But yeah, scary games. What was the question? Halloween, favourite scary. My favourite sort of horror game, without a shadow of doubt, is Resident Evil 4. I've played it and completed it twice in the GameCube. I've played it and completed it quite a few times on the Nintendo Wii. I've also completed it on the PC, it is a phenomenal game. If you've never played Resident Evil 4, you're missing out. You've absolutely got to go and play it. It would definitely be in my top 10 video games of all time. It's such a great game. The graphics, the atmosphere, the backgrounds, the sound, the creativity, the imagination that goes into the game, and it's genuinely terrifying. There's some bits where it's just like, wow, this is seriously spine tingling. So yeah, that is probably my favourite Halloween type game. And number 3, when I was a kid, apart from a horror film and TV and maybe a few shows telling ghost stories, Halloween wasn't really celebrated. Do you have any thoughts on how commercialised things are now with trick-or-treating? Aye, you're absolutely right, Carl. When I was a kid, we used to make our own costumes. So you went as a ghost, which generally entailed throwing one of your mum's bed sheets, cutting out a couple of eyes, and that was you. That was a ghost. Or you would go as a witch or a warlock, and you had to put your own makeup on, and you would, you'd get an old pair of your dad's shoes or a jacket, and you made stuff, and it was good fun. Nowadays, kids go down to Asda, and they buy a costume off the shelf, and yeah, granted, it looks a lot better than what we looked like, but to me, it's just killed the fun. I was going to say the funness, that's not a word, is it? It's killed the fun out of Halloween, because when we were kids, we made our own costumes, and that was part of the appeal. Nowadays, you just go down to Asda and you get a costume for a tenner. I just think it does annoy me when they call it trick or treat. Back in Scotland, it was called guising, where you basically went round doors and you had to sing a song or tell a joke, and you would get some sweets. Nowadays, kids just come to the door and they say trick or treat, and they expect you to hand them something. I'll always say to them, right, well, what are you going to do? You need to earn it. You can't just come and scrounge. That's called begging. Guising is where you're supposed to do something to earn whatever it is you're getting. So yeah, it's just not as good, Carol. But anyway, listen, mate, thanks very much for your questions. And lastly, probably when I say oldest, I don't mean oldest in age, but longest time subscriber, Mr. Brian C. Brian doesn't ask many questions on the Friday Waffle, but it says, Brian, you've got Brian to thank for this video, because I was all ready to throw the towel in some, I don't know what, 3 years ago, because I was getting like 2 views a video, and I was going to pack it in, and Brian managed to convince me. He said he enjoyed watching the videos, so I kept going. So yeah, you've got Brian to thank or to hate for me still being here. Anyway, what's Brian saying? Are you looking forward to the next couple of Nintendo retro consoles? The N64 Mini is nearly ready for production, but the one I'm looking forward to will get its initial release in Scotland, and Nintendo has already started filming a commercial for it. It features a coach load of Glaswegian school kids, and they're all singing "Stop the Bus, I Need a Wee Wee." If you're not Scottish, you probably haven't a clue what Brian's on about. Yeah, there was like a song that we used to sing when we were going to school trips. You would sing, "Stop the bus, I need a wee wee, stop the bus, I need a wee wee." So that's what we used to sing, and obviously Brian's making a reference to the wee. Yeah, wee, get it? Yeah. I dare say the wee wee will indeed be something. Or it'll be the wee mini, which hasn't got the. Possibly they should rebrand it the wee wee in Scotland. That would definitely sell. And the second question Brian's asking: what things make you realise that you're living in the future? For me, it's watching YouTube on my smartwatch. Quite a lot of things, Brian. I mean, the PSVR for starters. I think, I'm just trying to think, emulation is a big thing for me. The fact that I have got every single system that I've owned over the years, plus lots of other systems, plus all the games, not just a few games, every game, and it's all on an SD card, and it's smaller than you know, my fingernail and my pinky. I think that kind of messes with my head. Talking to people on Skype, I mean, you know, the ability to speak to guys that I used to read about in magazines, you know, Sean Southern playing his games. I mean, I made a post on my Mainmeister Facebook page. I was talking to Sean after the interview, and I was asking him about, do you play any of your own games? And he told me that he doesn't, because he doesn't own the games and he doesn't have any way of playing them. So I actually emailed Sean all his games for like the VIC-20, the C16, the Amiga, the Commodore 64. I actually emailed them all the games plus the emulators, and I gave him instructions of how to actually to go about playing it. And I just thought, that is absolutely mental. You know, 30 years ago I was sitting in my bedroom playing Kickstart, and here I am, fast forward 30 years, I've just had a conversation with a guy, lives 400 miles away from me, talking to him on camera, and then I've emailed him his games. That just kind of messes with my head. But yeah, I'm old enough to even stuff like the Xbox 360, I still get blown away with how good these games look. I don't need 4K. Yeah, 4K and all this kind of stuff. I'm not interested. I know lots of people get off with, you know, super resolutions, you know, HD TVs, and this is 4K. I've never actually seen a 4K TV, and I've not really got any interest in doing so. I dare say in a few years' time, you know, when my TV breaks, I'll probably end up getting a 4K TV, because that'll probably be the only type of TV I can buy. But yeah, lots of things make me realise I'm living in the future, Brian. So anyway, listen, mate, thank you very, very much for the question. So that is it, guys. I don't know how long this is rabbiting on for, probably about 40 minutes. That is me done and dusted for another week. I'm having a little party tomorrow. Or my wife's having a wee party. It's not a party, it's a wee get together for my 50th birthday. So I've got some friends coming round tomorrow night. I don't want to speak too soon because it may come to nothing, but I've been back in touch with Jeff Minter, and Jeff's kind of business partner, he was in touch with me, and he told me to email Jeff. So I've asked Jeff if he would agree to come on and get interviewed. I mean, I've known Jeff for a long, long time. I do know he would be a great person to have on, because Jeff is so enthusiastic about video games. He loves to talk about them, so that would be wonderful if I could get him on. But yeah, anyway, guys, listen, it just remains for me to say thanks very much to all the new subscribers. It kind of stuttered for a couple of weeks, but it's rising steadily now. I know I keep promising I've got a 1500 subscriber special. Well, I'm now over 1600. I will get that out in due course. I'm just trying to come up with something interesting to talk about. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, thanks very much for coming along. I hope what you see you enjoy. And obviously, as usual, thanks to all the loyal people that watch my channel, support it. You know, if it wasn't for you guys, then this channel probably wouldn't exist. I do appreciate all the feedback, the questions. You know, it helps to make this thing what it is. I will be doing another live stream probably in a couple of weeks' time, so I'll stick a wee video out to let you know when it's going to be going live, and hopefully there'll be a few people tuning in. So it just really remains for me to say, guys, thank you very much for watching.